Hey everybody, this is Michelle Baker, and I'm going to do a video tutorial showing you how I did my Turaffe Hybrid Animal. This is what it's going to look like when we finish. This is how I got my files, and but let's go over the instructions first for the classroom. At number 3, it tells you to create your composition document in Photoshop. Use the settings 8 inches by 10 inches. It doesn't matter if it's portrait or landscape. So you can do a 10 by 8 or 8 by 10, depending on the photos that you find. For my giraffe, it was better for me to do a landscape. So I did a 10 by 8. You want to set it to 300 pixels per square inch so that it prints clearly, and CMYK color mode because we're printing these in the classroom. All right, so that's the first thing you want to do is open a new document. So go to the home button and click on new file. Click on print. And I don't see any settings preset right here. You can view all presets to try to find you an 8 by 10. But it's easier for me just to go to width 10 inches, height 8, resolution 300 pixels per square inch, and the color mode needs to be CMYK, always when you're printing. And then just leave everything else the same and hit create. So here's your document. We're going to drop the photos into this document. So let me show you how to find photos. You can use unsplash.com. Unsplash.com has a lot of really nice photography for animals. I found my turtle at the very beginning. And so I just click download for free. And since I'm just using this on like a student portfolio, I would not have to worry about the copyright. But you could thank this individual on his site or here by giving him a thumbs up. If you were to use this on your website, you can give him credit there as well. So that is the turtle in my downloads right here. And then this is how I found my giraffe. I actually could search for a giraffe on unsplash.com and probably find one that would work with the turtle. This one would work pretty good. But I'm going to show you the one that I did end up using. I searched for giraffe on Google, and this is a tool that you can use to help you find bigger images. You can click on the tools button and select images and actually tell it what size images to show you. So if you click on, say, a medium image, another thing that's important is if you're looking for something for your student portfolio, it doesn't really matter if it has rights to it. But if you're needing something that doesn't have any copyrights, then you want to click on Creative Commons license. Means anybody can use it. But for this project, it doesn't really matter if it has copyrights because we're not selling it and we're going to edit the giraffe. So once you hit enter, it's going to show you all of the medium sizes. Now, National Geographic is protecting their image. But sometimes you can right click and still get a good size image. So I can save it to my downloads and just see what size it ends up being. Also, you could click on the site and try to take a screenshot of it really quickly before it cuts off by hitting Command-Shift-3. And so it's actually going to give me this, which looks like it's still a pretty good shot. So you can look out that way too, or you can just find another giraffe. So for this one, let me show you what I ended up with. I did end up with this download from their site, and I dropped it in Photoshop. And I went up and I checked the image and the size. And it's a big size. It's 15 by 10, but it's at 72 pixels per square inch, and I need 300. So I'm going to change the resolution to 300 and then click OK. All right, and so now I can take the lock off and take this layer, hover over my board, and drop it in on the board. Okay, and I can hit Command-T and actually shrink it to the board if I want. Something like that will work. And hit enter. And so I'm going to name this layer. Actually, it's a giraffe original. Giraffe. The original giraffe. And then my turtle is up in my downloads. I'm just going to come down to the dock, hover over Photoshop. When Photoshop, it drops in Photoshop, and it's not on my artboard yet. So I'm going to go check the size. It's at 72. I'm going to change it to 300 and hit enter. And now I can take it over to my untitled artboard. It's huge. I'm going to back up and hit Command T and shrink it down to about the size that I had shown you in the other composition. It was about this size. So let me try that one more time. It went back to its original size because I didn't commit to the size by hitting the check mark at the top there. You might see a check mark here. You have to commit to the size. All right, and so it won't move it again now. All right, so you're probably seeing that we got a little bit of a problem. The ocean doesn't stretch far enough. I don't want to stretch my turtle all the way to the size of the artboard because it won't leave any room for the giraffe head. So I could handle this a couple of ways, and I'm just going to try to show you one that's pretty easy. Would be to take my eyedropper, sample the blue to get that nice sea blue color. Okay. And then take my rectangle tool. I'm gonna come in and need to move my zoom bar. Y'all can't see it right there. It's in the way. All right. And I'm just going to draw a rectangle the size of the artboard and take the stroke off. Take the stroke off of my rectangle. Okay. All right, and the rectangle needs to go below the layer of the turtle. So there. So it's not a perfect match, and this is where we're going to use like the patch tool to get the ocean on this dark blue. But first, I want to merge these two together. So I'm going to hit Shift and select the turtle layer as well. Go right here to these lines and click Merge Visible. I want to make sure there's no eyeballs. No, see, the eyeballs are on here. We don't want the eyes on these because it'll merge them too. We just want to merge these two visible layers by clicking on these lines and clicking on Merge Visible. And it makes this one layer. So now you can call this layer the turtle layer. Okay, and then before we go any further, we want to make a copy of our original photos. So we're going to select both, hit Command J, and then hit Command G, and you're going to group them together and call this in all caps original photos. Everybody needs to do this. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take the eyeball off. You're going to stick them at the bottom. Oh, sorry. You're going to stick them at the very bottom of your document, and you're going to lock it. And this is where I'll go see your original photos. Okay, as for this layer, we no longer need this layer, so we're just going to drop it in the trash. And now I'm going to show you how to get the blue ocean on the rest of the background. Click on the turtle layer, grab your patch tool, and we're going to just sample small areas and slowly hit Command Command D to deselect the running ants. And I'm just holding down my pointer finger, drawing a circle, and I'm sampling parts of the ocean and hitting Command D. And this way, I am getting the ocean everywhere. And it's going to look natural when I finish. Okay, just sample. Oops, I missed the part I wanted to grab too, but I can go back. That's what the patch tool is so awesome. Just sample, draw a circle around what you want. Command D. I'm going to draw a circle around this line to get it out of there and sample the ocean underneath. Careful not to get a turtle head. Let go, hit Command D to deselect. I want to get this off of here. It doesn't look natural. Trying to stay in the light area where the ocean is light. Command D. This needs to be fixed. Command D. All right, we've got some more to do right here. So just get a little bit. Command D. A little bit right here. Command D. And at some point you can get, like the clone stamp and clone a little bit too. So you can sample by hitting Option and click, and then you can just fix a few areas to make it look like a natural blend. Excuse me. Option, click. And that looks pretty good. Option, click, just to get these little dark spots off of there. You can shrink your brush. To shrink your brush quickly, you can hit the bracket next to the letter P. See my circle getting smaller? And then the bracket to the right of that one makes your brush bigger. So it's much quicker than going all the way up here to the size and moving the bar. Okay, so now I got enough room for my giraffe head. So we just need to bring the giraffe head in. So I'm going to take the light off of the turtle and zoom in on the giraffe for a second. Really, the quickest way to get the giraffe head is to use the quick selection tool, because I have such a nice photograph here of white that the quick selection tool is going to grab the giraffe head perfectly. I started to paint accidentally, so I'm going to zoom in just a little. Grab the quick selection. I grabbed the brush tool instead. So the quick selection tool, and then you just use the plus, the add selection, and just click inside the antlers. Push up to the ear around. You can always go back and fix it if the running ants get outside the giraffe. Okay, I'm going to pause just for a second to get some water. Hang on just a second, guys. Hmm. 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 And I'm back. So you click and just push the running ants down. The giraffe neck. Okay. And you just have to paint over if you see them somewhere that you didn't want them. Just barely push it to the edge because it went outside. I can fix that by getting the minus and coming back and pushing them back in, but it did a good job. All right, and now we just want to go up to select and mask. Take the radius to about like 3 pixels. And this is what it has selected. Okay. We want to do a little bit of feathering to help with the hair. Maybe shift the edge in 10%. And then we want to select it as a new layer and click OK. All right, so we have the giraffe and we want it to be seen. So in order to be seen, we have to put it on top of the turtle. So there's the giraffe head. You can see it's not quite the same color. It's not as orangey as the turtle. So let's play around with a hue and saturation layer real quick just to get our colors right. I'm going to go to hue and saturation, and I'm going to click on the finger to select an actual specific color. Excuse me. But before I forget, make sure that you hover right here. This adjustment affects all layers below. So click it to clip the layer. You see how it clipped to the giraffe? If you unclip it, that's what it looks like. If you clip it, it puts a line under the layer that you've clipped it to. And so it's only going to affect the giraffe head. If you don't do this, it'll change the color on all the pictures below. All right, so we don't actually need this layer anymore. We'll delete it in a little while because we have it saved in our originals. But right now, let's just mess with the color. So we've got the finger. I want to grab the orange, and I want to see what happens when I hold it down and push it to the right and see if I got a nice bright orange color like the turtle, and then you let go. So what I did was I clicked on the finger, clicked on the color I wanted, held down the mouse with my pointer finger, and I just moved it to the right, and it enhanced that color. So if you look back at my original, that's kind of looking like what I had. And it could get a little darker too. You could play around with, some more saturation. Okay, now for the turtle, I may need to take the brown down a little bit. Not quite sure. Let's just play around with that for just a second. I'm going to ask it to clip to the turtle layer, and I'm going to take the brown down. See if that helps. Oh no, I don't like that. That was too much. Not sure if it makes a big difference. Okay. Not sure at all. Yeah, it makes a subtle difference. Yeah, we'll leave it on there. It kind of takes out that bright orange. So we'll leave the hue and saturation layer on there. Okay, so now we're going to move the giraffe head. I'm going to hit Command T as I click on the giraffe layer. And with the mover tool, I'm going to select the giraffe and kind of try to position it where I want it. I'm going to hit Command minus and shrink it down a little bit. I noticed that there was a little bit of white left from the photograph that I had before. I'm not going to worry about that because I can erase it with a mask and some black, and I can show you how to do that in just a second, but it's not showing. Oh, it is showing right there. Okay, you know what? Let's do that real quick. Watch this. I'm going to add a mask. Down here, it's the white box with the black circle in it, and when you hover over it, it says Add Layer Mask. Click one time, and it gives you this box. You can erase any pixels in this photograph with the brush tool and 100% black. You know that you have 100% black when you're clicked in the very, very bottom of your range of colors. So with 100% black, I can take this off completely. And with 100% white, I can put it back on, but I don't want to put it back on. That's how you do non-destructive editing. Black takes pixels off, white puts them back on. When you click back on your picture and hit Command T, to move your giraffe back the way you want. Okay, so I want to put him about. I want this turtle shell. I'm just gonna kind of turn my giraffe a little bit and maybe shrink him down a little. So this edge of the shell is where I want the turtle to meet. I mean the giraffe to meet. Um, and actually, this looks good touching the shell right here. So we may just end up taking a little bit of the giraffe off and blending it. So I'm going to commit to transform by hitting enter on your keyboard or checking that check box right there. All right, if you take the opacity off of the giraffe, you can see underneath. And so I want to take off a little bit right here. Just a little bit right there. And then and see what that looks like. So I'm going to go back to the mask that we added, and using black, I'm going to take off pixels. So I want it to have a little bit of opacity so that it kind of blends it real soft. So let's see what that looks like that. Okay. And then we're going to come up. Okay. Now I'm going to show you how to put a shadow under this neck to make it look like it was coming in and casting a shadow on the right fin. So what you want to do is you want to create a layer underneath your giraffe by hitting the plus bar. Just grab this underneath. This is, we'll call this layer shadow. Okay, and we'll call this layer giraffe head, not giraffe copy, but giraffe head. All right, this is the giraffe original that we don't need anymore because we have a copy actually saved. So the less clutter you have in your file, the better. All right, so this is the shadowing that I'm going to do. For shadowing, you want to stay about maybe just 15% of an original black. So I've got 100% black right there. And I'm just going to take it down to like 10. Let's try 10%. And I'm underneath the giraffe. So can you see the shadow that I just laid down? I laid down gray. That didn't look good. So I'm going to undo that. So we need a little bit more actually. So let's try 29. It's still not dark enough. And really blue, a darker blue might actually work too. So in the ocean, a dark blue might look pretty good. Um, there's little shadow right there to create some space. And I could put just a little bit of a dark shadow right here. Um, so I'm painting just barely outside of it. And I don't even know if that's necessary. I don't really think it is. So let's just hit Command Z and take that off. But this looks okay. Just a little shadow hint I did right there. And then for the blending, we're gonna blend that giraffe pattern down onto the turtle just a little. So in order to clone the pattern, you actually have to merge the picture. Okay. And also I think Command T, I think I want to go up just a little. So I'm just moving it up just a little. I think that looks better. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to commit to that. And I'm going to merge the two photos. So I'm going to click the top layer. I'm going to click on the bottom. It grabs all of them in between. And I want to merge all of these into one photo. Merge visible. So I've got my originals down here, and then I've got this is my Turaffe Hybrid. Hit enter. And this is where you can clone some of the giraffe head onto the turtle by getting your clone tool. And you can also try the patch tool. Let's try that. So I want to take some of this area and put some giraffe pattern on it and hit Command D to undo. And that actually looks pretty good. We could take it a little further if we wanted to. Doesn't have to look exactly the same as the one that I did earlier. And Command D. And that looks pretty good. And you can take it down into the fin too if you want. So you can get creative and do what you think looks nice. Yeah, that looks nice. Okay, so we could even take it further into the shell if we wanted. Let me hit Command Z a couple times and see if I like that. Yeah, I actually did like that. So I'm gonna hit edit, redo, edit, redo. Okay, and then do just a little right here to give it a nice little blend and hit Command D. Okay, so that looks good. And I'm gonna maybe clone just a little more so that the blend looks just a little natural. So I'm gonna hit Option, click, and just kind of blend that just a here. That doesn't look good. Command Z to undo that. Okay. Let's use the patch tool just a little to give it just Command Z, Command Z. I don't know. Command D. I think it could be throwing me off because this brown changes so drastically. But what I could do is just hit Command D and Command Z, and there we go. Before this looks pretty good. Maybe we won't. We won't do anymore. Maybe just. I think I want to mess with the color a little bit. Let's do a hue and saturation, and let me try to mess with that just a little. I want to pull it down just a little. See if I can get it to look a little no, maybe about -56. And I think that looks pretty good. If you don't like this green, you could take it out. I'm just gonna see what happens when I take it out. Actually, I kind of like it being taken out. So this is what you end up with. It wasn't too hard, but we're gonna practice. So altogether, we used quick selection tool. We used the select and mask tool. I showed you how to merge photos. I showed you how to build onto your background for your composition. I used a hue and saturation, showed you how to clip it to the layer, showed you how to select a specific color. I used a vector mask, showed you how to take off pixels, take them off, put them back on. And so this is good practice, and maybe I'll film another video showing you another one for the classroom as well. But this is a good start for your hybrid animal project. All right. Thank you for watching, and good luck with your hybrid.